Now I'll be going over like a quick analysis against all my opponents. Summit still quite stacked. People are all like, there's like only like everyone's not here, like Plup, SCJ, none. Yeah, but it's still like so incredibly stacked anyways. Like, dude, like Mango Zane in particular, like you're really gonna complain about a summit with these two guys in attendance, plus Amsa, plus Leffen. Like, I guess like the vote-ins are like not as stacked as before, but still like pretty good. Like these are all like top 50-ish level players. It's really hard. Top 8ing this is probably like a pretty good achievement for people outside of top 6. Mango Zane, Wizzy, HBox, Leffen, Amsa. They're like the question. Like there's just so many wild cards. Yeah, this is like my quick analysis on how I'm gonna be preparing for each player. No, I fight him like all the time. He's We've been practicing against each other ever since that we were shitters. Like we weren't even SoCal PR'd, and we still practice against each other, and it's actually kind of cute story that like we still kept grinding with each other, and now we're like top class players. So like, who knew that would work out? That one day, young Noel and KoDoRiN were just grinding in their rooms at delayed base net play, hoping that they make it in a big stage one day. And we're both at Summit. That's so cute. But historically speaking, I do win most of our sets. I do win most of our friendlies as well. There was this like one period where Noel was shitting on me in friendlies and beat me in every FD game, but that period has passed, so thank God. Uh, thank God that's not the period right now. And basically, I know his habits really well. I know his patterns really well. I especially know that when he chokes, he goes from like a top 30 player to like a bottom 300 player. And like I know little tactics I could do to make sure that I can win. And I feel good about Geo and Bracket just as long as like my punish game is good, like my tech chasing and my up throw flow charts, and especially like gimps are good. Uh, and I don't like get too lazy in neutral. I think that's probably like the biggest thing is that if I get too lazy in neutral and like my recoveries, Geo could definitely beat me, and that's something that I need to prepare for. Against Tyler Swift, he definitely fucked me online, and but that's the thing. He has fucked me up. I'm not denying that. And he's only been getting better at the Marth matchup, but not practicing against Zane all the time. But I'm starting to form ideas in my head against Pikachu. Like, I'm thinking that like if I could give myself like ample space against Pikachu and I crouch, I don't know what Pikachu can do about that. That's the thing. Is that what can Pikachu do against a Marth that just like crouch like a wave dash down tilt distance? Because like Nair, like it's hard. Like Nair would definitely cross up. It won't hit me. Dare can hit me, but I could crouch cancel, grab that. And if Pikachu like just dash dances, they don't approach, then like I could start threatening a wave dash down tilt. And I'm gonna be trying to abuse that strategy and see how that works out for me. And also, like with edge guard stuff, like I've been better at down tilting up B. Uh, it's not gonna be easy. I'm definitely not favored against Tyler, but I can do it. Like especially with this new strategy that I formed in my head about how I could abuse and wall out Pikachu. Against Free Palestine, Sheik Mart dual main. Probably gonna go Sheik against me. Against Free Palestine, I've net played him a ton, and I usually win. But you can't ever underestimate Sheik Mart. Because like Mart could just definitely just lose it if I'm ever off my game. So gotta feel out how he likes playing certain positions, so I know spots where I can approach and crouch cancel and like wall him out, oppress him, and make sure that my edge guards are good. And I think I should be fine against Free Palestine. Sora Josh, man, I've actually played him before. Like 3-ish years ago, 2-ish. God, it's been that long. Where Josh Man came over for a Genesis trip and then came to a couple of SoCal locals prior. And basically, like it was a really tight set, but I've ended up prevailing. It's Smart Fox. And I imagine that he did get substantially better since, but like not that much better considering that he's stuck in Australia. So and like the problem is that Spud like this would be a different story if Spud didn't retire and they kept grinding and grinding and like Josh Man maybe has a winning record against Spud, who at the time was like the second best mark against Fox against Spaceys. So like my next possible opponent, Magi, I'm fine against Magi. Like I'm aside from Mango's Falco, I have it on lock versus every Falco. I have like a supreme winning record against the Falco field, except for Mango, where Magi just thought it was a good idea to taunt against me, against a guy that beats every Falco. Yeah, it's a really hard matchup, and I'm just gonna do my Power Show game, my Nair game, my annoying Mart stuff game, and I don't think Magi has, like, right now, like, I'm probably gonna bop her, honestly. Like, even if I don't play well, like, Mart still has, like, really good setups to just kill Falco anyways. So, like, even if I'm not playing well, I still think I have a good chance of beating Magi. It's just so hard for Falco. And, let me just skip to Ginger since I'm talking about Falco. It's, like, almost the same thing where, yeah, it's funny that like Magi is like the highest skilled opponent here, like of the vote-ins, and she's probably my easiest opponent. That's the fucked up part. That's a screwed up world right there. But yeah, let me just skip to Ginger because that's the other Falco here, where like he's better than Magi, but like not by enough. Where like, okay, he might beat me if I'm playing pretty bad, but like if I'm not playing bad, like my Power Show game is good, my awareness of counter laser is good, and I just kill him. So I think I'm probably fine against Ginger, especially if I get like a little bit of warm up. Just gotta play my normal game plan, get my kills on Falco, and I'm good basically. Anyways, let me go to fucking H God. The guy that's kind of been bopping me lately. Beat me in the last summit pools, beat me in main stage. This guy's a monster. Not for his gameplay, but for all the outside stuff that I was not aware of. Not only do I need to be prepared for his pop-offs, but also like some trickery that he does. That like when I was playing a session of IBDW, and Cody told me that like one thing I fell for that I actually was not aware of at all was the fact that HBox definitely sandbags to kind of get under your guard a little. That one tipper, that charge, the most ridiculous S smash I got on HBox, like that. There's a possibility that he definitely did that on purpose. So like I was feeling myself too hard. And that Cody warned me after that. He like yelled at me a little. It's like, dude, like you fell for a very classic HBox trap, which is like getting cocky, like feeling a little too hard after beating him, because he definitely throws some games. I was not aware of that at first, but looking back, it's like that actually makes sense. That like there's some games where I swear that HBox just straight up throws, and if that were to happen, that like I happen to run into a scenario where HBox loses when he so chooses, I gotta stick to my game plan. That's like, all right, don't fear yourself too hard. All right, gotta play my game plan. Make sure I don't scrap. Make sure I follow the percent rules that the notes Zane gave me. Crouch cancel, like the percent ranges. Don't get hit by pound. Make sure I'm hitting my pivot S smashes. Pipsqueak, probably won't go Fox versus me because he has a Falcon secondary. while I will think that his Falcon secondary is good at killing Marth, I have a feeling that the Falcon has like a Gatsu neutral game where it's like it's just very linear per se. Like it doesn't like try to hide intent too much. Where he like I have no doubt in my mind that every time he hits me, I'm probably gonna die for it. But I could at least rely the part where he probably doesn't have like world class neutral game experience versus Marth. And I'm gonna be using that against him really hard. Where like I know ranges I could abuse versus Falcon. I did use the Android Zero yesterday, but that was like I jawned about it already. Bad mental headspace, whatever. Gonna learn against that in Summit, but and it's a best of 5, so I got more room to wiggle. And essentially, I think I have the edge because not only do I hit Falcon relatively hard myself, if I'm playing well, anyways, I also make it as hard as possible for the Falcon to hit me. So I think I stand a pretty good shot against Pipsqueak's Falcon. It'll be really surprising if it goes Fox versus me, but like I'm confident against this Fox as well. Wizzy, on the other hand, is like better than Pipsqueak's Falcon. I'll say that much. This guy fucked me so hard that he felt the need to taunt me. Definitely some like my preparation for him will basically be don't let him get free stomps and knees. Look out when he does his nair in place and how he evades off of it. Because that's like my quick thoughts about him is that if he could get away with it, he'll try to like go for like a free stomp, overshoot stomp, knee, grab. But if I don't give that to him immediately, he then starts to do nairs in place, which in the past I would try to react to it with like a fair or a grab or even side B, which still in some spots I might be too slow or too far away, and then he immediately like raptor boosts me and like, oh yeah, fucking back to knee me. I'm kind of aware of some of his next level neutral game because like I played him in friendlies for the first time on net play, and his neutral game actually wasn't that uh like his neutral game, like I could definitely feel that if he doesn't have to think, he won't think. Which now I'm proving to Wizzy that he has to think versus me. And that's where I need to be more aware that I need to call out his nair in places. And something tells me that if I'm able to call out his slide approach nairs, I'm able to then bring out like Panic Wizzy, where like he tries to like find a way to get a stomp or a knee, and I can wall that out. Or he like dash dances further away, which then I could call out with like down tilt or S smash, something like that. Where like I'm forcing him to approach, and I think that's like the plan. Is that I don't fall for his aerials in place anymore, and or at least not nearly as often. And I have to hope and pray to God that my punish game, like he doesn't like do some voodoo magic against my punish game. I just have to make sure my edge guards are good against him. I think that's like the main thing. If not, then I'm definitely gonna have a hard time versus Wizzy. Against SFAT, uh, that's a. Despite the fact that I have a winning record over him lately, like he's still like a really hard opponent, all things considered. Okay, so he's good at picking apart my habits. That's for sure. Especially if I'm not threatening him enough. I feel like one of my biggest problems against SFAT in the past that like I never really like threatened his space before. And that made him so super comfortable to take me over, like to just pick me apart. Because I was a very stationary player back then. I was like very in place player, very slow player. And that made it easy for players like SFAT, who's not exactly like the fastest, but still quite fast, to just pick me apart at like various spots. And I think a way to kind of solidify my neutral against SFAT is to uh, not give him that level of comfort to pick me apart. Like, really threaten those approaches, like run up grab, and like not actually do it, but make it look like I'll do it. And then like way dash back, get a bad approach off of him, and then counter attack. And then, making sure that my edge guards are good. making sure that I'm not lazy with my recoveries anymore, because I think he learned his lesson about not letting me side B so close against him. So I know I can't get away with that anymore. Unless he does lets me, then that'd be great. But I know I have to come up with some new recovery tricks. Thinking about like some air dodge stuff, some drift stuff, maybe even a counter here and there. But like, I definitely know that I can't just default to like side being near him anymore, because I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he's gonna change, and because he's a good player. But the problem with that is that despite what I just said, like about how SFAT used to pick me apart, because I don't think like that was still like a big weakness of mine in Summit 11. He performs like 10 times worse in tournament for whatever reason. Uh like he doesn't do ledge dashes anymore. He like messes up basic tech skill stuff. So like there's also just a good chance that like I just run into him when he's like playing like shit. So it's like I'll take it if it comes. I know he's like way better than that, but hey, when you show up that bad versus a Marth, I will take it all the way to the bank. All right, against IBDW, Cody. What are my preparations versus him? Um, I beat him at main stage, but I damn well know that he did not play his best there. He was fucking having a nosebleed, for crying out loud. Of course, he's not gonna play his best. Um, but but after that main stage moment, he played me in friendlies and like 90, 100 ping, whatever. But yeah, like maybe I kick him in the face prior, so he has like an even worse nosebleed, and that's how I win. You know, where is it in the melee rulebook that kicking players is illegal? Kicking players in the face specifically. I want to see the reference. Where does it actually say it in the rulebook? Uh, but we played a net play once, and he kind of fucked me because he was playing like the fastest that I ever imagined. And then later on, it turns out he took some drugs. So I guess you can't rely on that. So my only reference point was he was just playing out of his goddamn mind with like his like drugs for his medicine, like his medicine drugs, not literal like illegal drugs, mind you, just like medicine drugs that for whatever reason made him play his best ever. Like he told me that like that was like the few time he felt like he was playing a 10 out of 10. And I got to experience 10 out of 10 Cody. If he plays like that against me, against Zane, he will fuck both of us. I'm telling you, 10 out of 10 Cody is different. But something tells me that it's very unlikely that you will play a 10 out of 10 in bracket. And what I felt when I played against him at main stage is that I felt fear from him. Like I felt that like, the Cody that I fought in when he was playing 10 out of 10, he had no fear at all. He was making very good decision making. And then the one I played at main stage was one who was a lot more reserved, a lot more doubtful, a lot more maybe I could do this kind of feeling where and it was like that's what made it so that it was possible for me to pick him apart at main stage. So what I'm gonna get a feeling of at Summit is that's probably gonna be more of an in between, where like there will definitely be some doubt because it's Fox fighting a Martin tournament, but like he's playing better, so he probably feels more comfortable. So I'm probably gonna be playing an in between version against Cody. My strat against Cody is if he's playing cracked out of his mind, gonna be playing a more ground game style, call out with down tilt, call out with pivot grab. And then once he backs off, then that's when I could like, maybe threaten some approaches or zone in place. And I think it will be a competitive set. Cloud9 Mango. The guy that I've been playing to like 3 a.m. every day or every 2 days. The guy who is trying to prepare against this guy, but may not realize that he's training up this guy too much. Basically, if I were to pick which Spacey I'd rather fight Mango's Fox, which is actually ridiculous to me to say, even like a year ago, or like even like 2 months ago. Um, where 2 months ago I would have been like, oh, I want Falco any day of the week, but that was because like my style really like made it so that like I instantly lose against Fox. But now that like I've gotten faster, I've played a better ground game versus Fox, and like how Mango's Fox isn't like exactly super refined right now. Uh, if it stays that way, like providing that the tech skill and like certain decision making doesn't get better, I'd rather fight. I think the Falco is a harder opponent than the Fox. Where against the Fox, like if it plays as well as it does, like at Summit 11, then it might be overall harder. But I'm still very comfortable against this Fox because like now that I have like more and more experience like fighting Mango and his habits, like uh it's definitely very threatening for sure. Neither of his spaces are easy opponents. Let me just say that straight up. But um if I had to pick one that I'd rather fight right now, though, it would be the Fox because I don't think the Fox is totally in shape. It still makes like weird decision making points, and like lets me get away with a lot of things at the moment. Plus, like I think it's easier to like call out the Fox habits than the Falco habits because speaking of the Falco is just consistently very hard. Like Mango's decision making with his laser game, his way how he fights out of scraps, how he deals with Nair really well. Not easy. Not easy at all. It feels like to me that the Falco is way more ready for Summit than his Fox. Where like I have a feeling that for this Summit, he might bring out the Fox in like 2 matchups, and then like it's gonna be 95% Falco because his Falco is way more solid, way more ready against like the field than it is with his Fox. And my strategy against his Falco is probably gonna be like make sure I'm power shielding, I'm playing the evasive game really well. Don't get laser jabbed for free every time. Sometimes I need to hold down against it, and then like make sure I'm acting out lasers really fast and edge guard really well because now that it's land, I'm able to go out there more often against side B and make sure he pays for it rather than like let him recover for free. And if he were to bring up his Fox, I gotta remember to just wait out the first beat, see if he like gives me that first interaction, and if he's dash dancing a lot, then like I need to feint off my approaches really well, and make sure I could run off fair side B, and it's gonna be a really hard opponent regardless, even if he's not playing his best. Like he always brings that like Mango factor where he plays differently in bracket than he does in friendlies. Everyone does, but like I expect certain habits that he does in friendlies, and it's way different in tournament. All right, VG, BC, RB, AMSA. Alongside with Tyler, probably like the guy that would probably fuck me really hard. He, if he could take Zayn to game 5, what chances do you think I have? Like, I got taken to game 5 by Whiskers. And AMSA's probably like 3 times better than Whiskers, who's like, Whiskers is really good, don't get me wrong. But like the gap between AMSA's Yoshi and every other Yoshi, like his skill might be higher than every other Yoshi combined. That's how good AMSA is. And AMSA's only training, and now that he has in-game practice, that just decreases my chances even more. I don't even know if there's any Yoshis to warm up with at Summit, but I've had some practice with Guex Yoshi lately, and I actually found some like decent breakthroughs in a Yoshi matchup, particularly moving out of shield better. Like I would often like try to like find a reversal out of shield, but when I treated shield as getting out of disadvantage a little better, I started to do significantly better against Guex. And to be frank, I don't think that's enough against AMSA, but like, because like I really need to figure out how to how the fuck I kill that guy. Because sometimes like I just can't kill Yoshi, and I feel like that would hurt the most against Amsa. But I do think I have a better grasp on moving out of shield versus Yoshi, so then like I don't give a lot of interactions for free. Like I felt like I would give Yoshi's free interactions by making my intent really clear on what I want to do out of shield. But now that I'm actually moving out of it, making my intent a lot more ambiguous. Um it's a lot more like it gives me like a competitive chance to like get a hit on Amsa. What I'm gonna be transparent with is that I'm probably gonna be losing to Amsa like the first 3 sets, and after that I will learn something. Like I'll like break apart like what I'm doing wrong and like how I can punish harder. Then I'll probably have a better chance. TSM Leffen. I'm terrified of this guy. I'm fucking terrified of Leffen. Um, you know how scary Leffen is with no expectations, and what he's gonna tweet after he beats me, even takes one game off of me, even 1%. There's 1% of me. It's like I haven't played Melee in like 2 years, and I dealt even 1% to KoDoRiN. Oh my god, this guy sucks. And it's like, and then like he does like that smiley face at the end. Nobody knows what to expect from Leffen. Nobody knows if we're gonna see like EGLX Leffen, where he just loses to like 2 players that like he should have lost to, or Gommel 2016 Leffen, where he beats all 4 gods. He's the best player in the world. I'm terrified of both versions, if I'm being honest, because like I feel like even like shit Leffen might still even beat me to begin with. And basically, the big test for me here is expectations. It's because what I'm already doing is that I'm kind of like expecting certain things to happen, and I cannot afford to think that way at all. It's okay for me to think that now because it doesn't matter, but during the moment, I cannot give him like any way to get in my head. If for somehow he gets in my head, the set is already over. And I just need to really focus on like why I play the game, have fun with it, just play. And maybe if I do that, I have a good chance against Leffen. Essentially, my plan versus Leffen is to make it so that he can't just like play his game, because I feel like Leffen is at his weakest when you kind of confuse him. Like if I could ever put him off balance for whatever reason, I think I have a strong shot against him. If I could like make him so that he can't just play his game somehow, like I make it so that he can't just needle camp. I make it so that his fairs don't work, and I edge guard him. I actually do think I have a strong shot. Like if I could like tilt him in some way, like an early tipper kill, like I do think like momentum probably matters the most against Leffen, because if I let him get that, it's like the journey just got a whole lot harder for me. And that's gonna be my strategy, is that I somehow find something to like, it's either like I find like a really cheap kill, or I outplay him like 5 times in a row. And I think if I get that, I basically won, is like my read on this. So it's like uh yeah, basically make things not go his way, and I think I have a strong shot against Leffen. So Zane, so busy practicing that he's not even repping Golden Guardians in Smash.gg. This guy has been practicing. He has not been streaming very much. He's been practicing off stream every day, working hard, never wanting to repeat what happened at Summit 11. And he seems like the most threatening player in the world. I've seen some, friendlies with him versus Mango, and uh they were pretty, I'll say that much. It's very clear that he's been practicing the entire time. And Zane, he's the best player. I don't know. Like he's been restructuring his gameplay. He's been improving its tech skill. He's been getting coaching from Drug Fox. He even like listens to notes that I give him because like he asked me to give like notes against various players, and I gave him notes, and he listens, and he grows, and he keeps evolving, and he keeps getting better, and it's like, damn, this looks like the new Armada, essentially. The Armada, but plays a good character. And I he is definitely like the guy the most deserving to win Summit for doing so much off-stream practice. Like I've seen like other people stream their practice versus Zane, and he's like in a three-man rotation with KJH, Fiction, and Magi. I'm like, oh my god! And like Zane wins every best of five for like 3 hours versus those three, and I'm like, ah, that he can afford to do off-stream practice, and he's getting the best quality practice. It's like, holy fuck, this guy's winning. Uh that's not to say though that he's not unbeatable. Um I gave my prediction that if I were to get like an early edge versus Leffen, uh the momentum gets on my side. And I feel like it's a much more minor version of that with Zane, but not as significant, but still like noteworthy. Like if I can get an early lead on Zane, like I feel like he gets like slightly more desperate. And like it's either like he plays more defensive or he like makes like somehow does like a really bad approach. Usually he plays more defensive. I feel like that's like a slight desperation Zane. And I guess like my strategy for beating him is that um I need to play not as reserved versus him, because I think my biggest mistake when I played him at Summit was that I played like an extremely reserved game, and that costed me. Like that made it so that Zane had like the pace. He was able to dictate the pace really well and get really comfortable with a lot of his punishes. What the plan is to threaten a little better, try to get that early lead if I can. If not, then like I have to find something out my ass. But if I get like a good lead against most of these guys, I think like I could push it really far. But like against Zane, it's only like a small lead, it feels like. And I need to make sure that my edge guard game is really good. I also felt like that was a big flaw last time where I didn't uh hit quite hard. Like I messed up like some of my down tilt edge guards, and he got back a lot for free because of it. Especially like game 3 of that FD game, the last time we played, we like if I down tilted instead of S smash, I would have killed him. But like because I S smashed instead, he got a wall tech bear, and I was like, God damn it! I know like the proper counterplay against that too, so it is what it is. And so hitting harder with edge guards and not letting him get comfortable with his neutral, I think is like the play against Zane in order to even have like a chance of beating him. Despite Zane practicing a ton lately, I will say that I don't think he's been practicing the Martino very much. I mean, to be fair, I haven't either. But and it's not our fault. Like there's just not that many Marts. All right. So we're probably gonna be playing a bit in friendlies and see what we could both learn. But yeah, that's my quick rundown analysis of all these guys. All things considered, like if you want my pragmatic prediction on how I'll place, I think my gut feeling is that I'm probably gonna get somewhere between 9th and 7th. Because it's like, so many hard opponents. I think like the dream is that I get 3rd. I think that's like my peak, but like I don't think I'm quite ready to like get that first place run yet. But what's also probably way more likely to happen is I get like 9th or 7th. But only one way to know for sure what happens is just have fun, because at the end of the day, like I always go to these events having really fun and being in the moment, seeing what I could learn from everything. Because the last Summit experience for me was like one of the most magical, most fun experience I've ever had at a tournament, and I use that very well. I think you could use me as an example of a summit level up, and this is gonna be no different. All things like no matter where I place, it's like I'm always gonna have really fun. I'm always gonna have really fun playing here and making the most out of the event.